Good evening. Welcome to yet another Etoile Europe Leadership Conversation. And I want to welcome all our viewers, our delegates, our friends, associates, network all around the world back to another session here. It's always good to be here, and it's always a great honor, to let us into your space, especially at this time of the evening. For some people, they're in the afternoon. For our great associated network in the Bahamas, where our base is, it's in the afternoon there right now as well. So thank you so much for your time and for this ongoing conversation. And I'm telling you that leadership is a major crisis that our world is going through because of this particular theme that we're dealing with right now. Leadership determines everything. The state of my and your personal life. What is it that is leading you? Our communities, our families, our nations, our organizations, our countries, is determined by the quality of leadership that is in place. And I think we started out, this particular session by looking at what Alexander the Great said. And he said, an army of sheep led by a lion will always be better than an army of lion led by a sheep. And this literally just gives us the summary of leadership and followership as well. And you also know that followership is in order to become a leader as well. So today, we're going to have a really, really fantastic session, today. And we're still on our theme, leadership determines everything. But however, we're going to be zeroing on a particular area today, which is more of decision making. And today we have a guest with us. I'm going to just talk a little bit about him before I bring him, into the studio tonight. This is a fantastic speaker. He's actually a very dear brother of mine. He lives in Africa, so he understands the dynamics of the developing nation. His name is Akin Oluwadare Jr. He's a banker with over 20 years experience. He's a senior manager in a new generation bank in Nigeria. He's an inspirational writer. He's an author. He's also a leadership coach and relationship enthusiast. I've seen him, in his work of leadership, his passion about leadership, and also his passion to raising a new generation of leaders, especially working with young people. He's a founder of Akin Junior Leadership Academy, a leadership development organization that is aimed at raising and developing leaders. He's an associate of the Chartered Institute of Personnel and Development in the United Kingdom. Akin is a convener of Aramco Social Economic Summit and trustee to Aramco Social Economic Empowerment Initiative, a non-governmental, organization that is aimed at empowering the youth in his hometown, Aramco Ekiti. That's Ekiti, same place I'm from as well in Nigeria. For the Ekiti people, I think you guys say thumbs up to Ekiti people. He's a Christian and married to his best friend, Ayoride. Akin aims to empty himself in service to God and humanity. So today, Etoile Europe and Etoile Worldwide, please welcome with me, Akin Oluwadare Jr. Welcome.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here.
So nice to have you. Good evening. Good evening.
Thank you. Always a pleasure to be with you, sir.
Thank you. Always a pleasure to have you. I'm so inspired. I'm so proud of you. I talk about you a whole lot of time to young people. I say a whole lot of wonderful things, and that's just because I see your passion in the area of leadership. Say something about yourself. I mean, I read your profile, but I know there's something that you got to say about yourself that I don't know. Just say something to the viewers about yourself. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Pastor JT, and good evening, viewers. It's my pleasure to be with you this evening. Etoile Europe, it's my great pleasure to be a guest on your program. My name is Akin Oluwadare Jr., like Pastor JT has said. I'm a husband of one wife. I have 4 adorable boys who are doing pretty well. I have passion for leadership development. That's just it. Service to humanity is my watchword. It's my pleasure to be amongst you this night. Thank you.
Fantastic. Now, let's, we've been on this, and thank you. You're one of the, consistent viewers of this program, and you've been a great support to us in all our leadership work that we do around the nations. You're always, part of our network and key into what we're doing. And, I always follow, as much as I can, I always follow your blog. You always have something to drop there online around leadership. And, you literally dropped something that actually got me into this particular topic, a while back. And you said, you can delegate idea generation. These are Akinlodare, quotes. So if you want to quote this, please make sure you give him the credit. But but you can't delegate decision making, because this is the sole responsibility of leaders. And I'm telling you, you just hit the nail on the head. And this is exactly where we want to go into, because look, as we always say, leadership is not about your office, your title. It's a whole lifestyle. It's your attitude. It's everything. And it determines everything. And this particular statement you made has opened up a whole lot of kind of one. So this is around what we want to discuss today, because even as well, we are all leaders in our own right. Everyone is born a leader. Thank you. You're welcome, guys. Everyone's born a leader. So you will at one time make decisions. Leaders, we're electing leaders, we're choosing leaders, we have leaders in our organization who are making decisions continually. These decisions have effect, have consequences. This decision is going to affect all of us. So we got to get this right. And this is what I want us to talk about today, because you quoted it anyway. So we need to pick your brain on this as well. So tell us, can you train your mind to make the right decisions at all times? And if so, how? We need to know how to really make decisions. It's an art that everybody's got to perfect. I will need to make a decision every day. Once I wake up, I need to make a decision. Wherever you are today, you probably made a choice that made you there. So tell us about this. Can you train your mind? What do I do? How?
Thank you so much, Pastor JD. Before we get into that, I think we need to also talk about what leadership entails. You said something, you said, yes, there's a popular quote that leadership is action, but not position. It's not about the position you occupy, not about status. It's just, it's action. Yeah.
Yes.
Let's look at what leadership entails. There are so many definitions to leadership, but there's one particular definition that caught my attention, that caught my fancy. And that's the one I refer to most times when I'm talking about leadership. And it's quite interesting that everybody is talking about leadership now. Everywhere you go, because everybody now knows what leadership means. Mm-hmm. Leadership is everything, just like you said, Pastor JD.
Yes.
Now, there is one particular definition of leadership that catches my fancy every time, and it was the one given by Nana Keohan. How did she describe leadership? He said, leaders determine or clarify goals for a group of individuals and bring together the energies of members of that group to accomplish those goals. That's powerful as far as I'm concerned.
Yes.
You say the fish rots from the head. Wow. Leadership is everything. Yes.
That's right.
The leader must be visionary. And like Nana said, she said, the leader determines or clarifies goals for a group of individuals. A person must be able to take the lead and clarify the goals as much as he can. So on that background, let's now go to the question you asked, whether one can make the right decisions every time. I might not be able to say that one should be able to make the right decisions every time, but one should be able to make decisions every time. Do you know that indecision is a decision? If you are not making any, it's a decision, but it's the worst type of decision. So what I would say is that at any point in time, you must be able to decide. And you should not be afraid to take a wrong decision. What matters is for you to take responsibility for whatever decision you are making. So at any point in time, ensure that you are taking the right decision. And coming to the quote you mentioned, that you can only delegate idea generation. There are three broad stages when you want to take a decision. The first part talks about idea generation. Then it graduates to idea evaluation before you now get to decision making. Now, I follow this band. There's this Adam Grant. He's an organizational psychologist. I follow him on LinkedIn. He brought a completely new dimension to leadership and decision making. Right. Every time we talk about brainstorming, what does brainstorming mean? When you have a group of individuals sitting in a room, everybody is bringing ideas. At that point where you are generating ideas, it's not a good time to evaluate ideas because you are going to kill the best ideas. There's a popular quote that the first idea is not necessarily the best idea. You need to get all the possible, even the ones that sound stupid. You need to get all the ideas, put them in the basket before you start evaluating. Now, Adam Grant says something very germane. He said that brainstorming even kills ideas. If, for instance, you have a group of individuals in a room and you say, okay, let us brainstorm. He is saying that there are some in that room that will follow pressure of conformity. as in where the majority are going. Some who probably have divergent views because of pressure of conformity might want to follow what others are saying. What Adam Grant is recommending, yes, what Adam Grant is recommending is that we should go beyond, we should go beyond brainstorming to brainwriting. That was the way Adam Grant put it. Brainwriting, yeah. That when you have different people generating their own ideas differently, you now put everything together in a basket at the point of evaluation. For instance, myself, I am a speaker. I am also a writer. But it will surprise you if I tell you that I prefer writing more than speaking. Because when I'm sitting down and I'm writing, I'm able to calm my head and bring up the best ideas. There are people who would never speak in a gathering, but they are the best idea generators you can find. So what Adam Grant is recommending is that we should go beyond brainstorming, because brainstorming, everybody is following the bandwagon. Some who do not have the inclination to speak, sometimes you kill the ideas within them because they are not able to voice their ideas. It could be because they are shy. Some are timid. Some don't just like to talk. And when you have most vocal people, sometimes we make the mistake of thinking that those who are vocal are the ones that have the best ideas. It's not necessarily so.
That's true.
The most quiet person in the room is the one you should fear the most. When you have a team of individuals and you have a particular set of people or a particular person in the room who is always quiet, he hardly talks, that is the person you should please pay attention to. It might not be in the midst of everybody. Get him to speak even when others are not there. You might find out that he's the best person that has the best ideas. I belong to a club in my hometown. I have a very particular friend, cool-headed, calm guy. Sometimes if you do not ask him what his opinion is about an issue, he may not say anything. But if you get it out of him, you'll be surprised that the idea he has is the best in the room. So going back to what Adam Grant said, you should go beyond brainstorming. Now, when you have brainstormed, when you have gotten all those ideas in a basket, like I said earlier, you are now evaluating. If you start evaluating at the point of idea generation, you kill some ideas. But when you let everybody bring up the ideas, the ones that sound stupid, the ones that sound good, put everything together. Now it is now the time to evaluate the ideas. It is at the point of evaluating those ideas that you begin to weed the chaff. You now narrow down to the ones that look presentable, that you can ruminate on. That is when you are now getting to the point of decision making. So the quote you mentioned, at the point of idea generation and evaluation, you can democratize it. When we are talking of democracy, everybody has a say. But when it gets to the point of taking the decision, it is the prerogative of the leader. You cannot delegate decision making. It's a recipe for disaster if you are delegating decision making.
Wow. I think this is fantastic tool, especially for us individually, developing our own personal leadership, and also for positional leadership, because if leaders do this consistently, making sure a lot of leaders don't even delegate at all. They're trying to do everything. They brainstorm, they brainwrite, they make the decision. Now, so leaders really want, can I just prescribe this to us and to as many people who are going to watch this podcast? You can delegate brainstorming and also allow for brainwriting, evaluate, this as well. Then somebody needs to take a decision. Two people, people always ask me this, and in marriage as well. This is one crazy thing in marriage. And sometimes people think in marriage, because we're husband and wife, both people have to take this. I say, no, it doesn't happen like that. You can't have two heads. That's a monster. However, you've got to listen to all ideas that are being placed on the table. It might be by your children, it might be by your wife, it might be, and look at it, evaluate it critically, but you have to make a decision. And when you have a man that cannot make a decision, especially in the home as a decision maker, then you're going to have a whole lot of issues. Sure. But this has really thrown a lot of light to us today. Now saying all this, now I got to now open this a bit more as well. So if we now look at this, and I want you to really apply this, we want to see how this applies to us. As you know that Itwala, our focus is really on leadership in developing nations, training the trainers as well. No, now, so shed some light or give us some examples of some effects of decision making that have affected, especially our developing nations, whether they're good or bad, and they take a lot of decisions, and you can see some of those consequences. Shed some light on this effect, please, with us.
All right, thank you so much. I think the most important we should talk about there is the process of choosing our leaders in the developing world.
Oh my God,
choosing them. Yeah, the process of choosing our leaders is quite defective. Yeah. Sometimes you want to ask, is it the hen before the egg or the egg before the hen? But the process of choosing our leaders is a key decision-making process in Africa or in the developing world. But
choosing our leader is key decision-making process for all of us, actually.
That is it. So when
that means we have a lot of problems. My God.
When the foundation is weak, when the foundation is defective, whatever you are building on it becomes a problem. So the process of choosing our leaders in the developing world is quite effective. In Europe, for instance, let's talk about UK. Even in China, it is not just anybody that can wake up today and become prime minister in UK. It's impossible. And in the developing world, in Nigeria particularly, you have business schools, but I've not seen a leadership school anywhere. But it's not like that in the developed world. Yeah,
that's true.
Yes. The leaders pass through. It could be the university they attend. It could be some leadership schools. The leaders that would ever lead UK will go to some particular leadership inclined institutions.
Yeah.
It's not like that in Nigeria. Yes. It's not like that in other parts of Africa. Today, anybody can come from anywhere with a deep pocket. You can be anybody. And you just find yourself in leadership position, political leadership particularly. And because politics drives everything, those who are able to find their ways into political offices control everything that have to. Is it the spiritual part? Is it economy? Is it our social lives? They control everything. So the question is, what kind of decisions have affected developing nations? I would say the process of choosing our leaders is a decision and it is defective. We need to look at that.
My God, you've gone really deep. Now you've gone deep because I didn't even go to that place. I wasn't even thinking of that. That means the first issue is if we even decided the decision process or our decision making of choosing the leader, for that leader now to begin to make decisions that will either make us or kill us. Okay, all right, we take that one down. Okay, yeah. Oh my God. Okay. We can finish this program right now because I think we all just are guilty on that one. Okay, because this is going to affect, our world, affecting our nations. And that might be even why we're still in this developing caption forever, because of the quality of the decisions that we make. So examples again, okay, I was going to share this with you sometimes back. I was doing a leadership training with a bank, actually in Nigeria as well. And I was sharing with them that, and I know, I'm going to go there now. You bankers, you made a decision. We want to make Nigeria cashless. And they made a decision. And I challenged that decision. I said, this decision, you didn't think it through. Because that decision only just it didn't solve the problem, really. It created another problem we didn't know before. And that's one thing I saw, and I think is affecting different other sectors as well. So share some, because we look with the different effects that we're going through because of this decision-making process. Talk to us about that, please.
Okay. Let's go to different sectors.
Okay.
Talking about decisions that have been made and the effects those decisions have. Let's take education, for instance.
Oh my God. Yeah.
In the United Kingdom and some other developed world, UK, for instance, particularly, education is the right of a child and is compulsory. That has happened in Nigeria before. I remember there was a minister of education in Nigeria. He's late now. His name was Babatunde Aliyu Fafunwa. He's late now. He brought one policy to the educational system in Nigeria. He tagged it 6334 system of education. That was a decision. It was a noble decision that was meant to have overriding effect on the way education is seen, the way our curriculum is drawn in Nigeria, but that decision was never followed through. What did that policy say? The policy, that time it was still 6 years in primary school, 5 years in secondary school in Nigeria, then 4 years in tertiary institutions.
That's right.
Yeah. But that policy said in the primary school, it will be 6 years. But instead of 5 years in secondary school, we are now meant to have 3 years in junior secondary, another 3 years in senior secondary, before 4 years in tertiary institution. What does that policy mean? It means that when a student, for instance, who has left elementary school, graduates to secondary school, instead of having 5 straight years, he will do 3 years in junior secondary school. After that 3 years, if the child decides not to go further, he can take a vocation and begin to contribute to GDP of the economy. That was a decision. Now, at that point, what they had in mind was to have technical education system that would be able to grow the informal sector. We call them small and medium scale enterprises. You could have a student who has finished junior secondary school but does not have the capacity to go further to senior secondary school. He could choose to drop out from there and begin to practice his vocation. It could be wood making, it could be carpentry, it could be bricklaying, it could be tiling, it could be POP, whatever. It could be welding. Now, if that child decides to go further, after the junior secondary, if he chooses to end it there, you see that that child is already productive. Why do we have jobless graduates in Nigeria today? It is because we keep emphasizing formal education. That's a decision.
That's a decision.
Everybody is coming out of the university with certificates without job because they are not productive. That decision was never followed through. We still have the junior secondary school, we still have the senior secondary school, but everybody is still rushing to the university. Even the ones that do not have the capacity to go to the university, they are still rushing there. Now they go and come out, there's no job in the labor market. Everybody comes back to the basics. That was the decision.
Let me interrupt you there. So really, tell us one, because of our time, it's really running. I'm really enjoying this. What one key thing that you think is responsible for bad decision making that we got to address? If we can deal with one, I think that would take us to the next one. One key thing that you can pick up, out of many.
I think everything still comes back to the main topic: leadership. If the leader has a vision and has the right attitude to follow through that vision, he's going to put the right people in the right places to take the right decisions for all of us that can drive us to whatever goal is set for that particular team. That is one thing that is lacking.
Wow. I can pick up that straight away, right attitudes. That means if we begin to work on our attitudes and get the right attitudes. And what is attitude, by the way? Attitude is just the way we respond to all life issues. It will affect the way we make decisions. And I think this is very, very key. And that leads us to a whole lot of other things. That attitude you just mentioned there, very, very key thing there. Now, you have made certain decisions as well, along the line, that has made you, authored, some materials. Please tell us about some of these materials, and why did you decide to write these books as well? Tell us, because that was a decision you made as well.
Yes, it's a long story actually. I told that story in my first book. Actually, I've authored 2 books, just like you said earlier. Yeah. My first book is titled My Thoughts. It was just a collection of my ideas. When I started writing, yes, my books are displayed now. The first one, I titled it My Thoughts. Then the second one is a Winning Strategy. That one was deliberately written. When I wrote My Thoughts, it was not a decision for me to write a book. I was just expressing myself. When I was actually in the junior secondary school before I even went to the university, I knew I could write. I've always known I could write. But because I loved those who wear ties, I chose to be a banker. So at a point in my banking career, I believed that I was hiding one talent that I was not bringing out. And my wife challenged me that I should take this thing beyond pastime. That was why I decided to start writing. I just made that decision September 12, 2016. Because I knew I have something that the world could share from. I said I was going to be writing an article, at least one article per week, since September 12, 2016. That's about 6 years to this time. I've never missed it for 1 week. Now, through that writing, it was when I started writing that people started encouraging me that I could actually be an author. That was what brought about my first book. Then the second one was a deliberate decision. Many people have called me that I've never met before, that read my articles on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Twitter, and they will say my articles are touching lives. That to me, it's mind-blowing. It tells me that I have something I can offer the world, and I'm doing that. Beyond that, in my hometown, there was a time I traveled home one weekend like that, many years back. It was in 2012. And I saw some guys that were my classmates in the secondary school rotting away. And I told myself, what can I do? If everybody is complaining about the problem, who is going to solve the problem? And I said I was going to start a revolution in my hometown. And I convened what I called Aramco Socioeconomic Summit in my hometown. It's an NGO. What did we aim to do that time? It was to inspire the younger ones to see how they could discover themselves and be an asset to the society. These are followed through for like 10 years now, 2012 to date. Then sometimes in 2017, I funded Akinjunior Leadership Academy, mainly to continue to inspire the generations behind me, to see how they can discover themselves and be an asset to the society. These are decisions I've made that I believe are making impact on humanity. And I'm glad I took those decisions at the right time.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. This is serious. This is really serious. And I can deduct from that, right attitudes are product of quality, intelligent information or knowledge as well. And based on those knowledge, you've made those decisions. Please, if you want to access some of these materials, please, you need to go to the website of Akin Oluwadare Jr. Please, if you can have that details of the website again online, we will have it also on our broadcast, and also the link on our YouTube channel as well. You can get these materials there. They're fantastic materials. I've read both of them. I was at the launching of those books. I think the two of them actually as well, and they're fantastic materials. Thank you so much. This is really, really inspiring. Look, we got to bring you back, because there's a whole lot of things you don't on our laps. And I see some comments there. I can't even read all of them, but somebody said something very fantastic just from picking on what you said, that look, ignorant followers are making, it's choosing a leader is a decision, and an ignorant follower's decision can be swayed. So if a follower is already an ignorant person that does not know much, then makes a decision to choose ignorantly, then we end up with a whole collection of ignorance. Hence, our nations, our countries are not developing. And this is why we're here having this conversation, friends, network, associates, as many people are connected. This is why we need to have a conversation around leadership, because it determines everything. Leadership determines everything. What's going to happen? Some people are going to make a decision that's going to affect our unborn generation. Some people are making some decisions regarding our education system right now, and they want to change certain textbooks, and it's going to affect lives. And this is why this is our business. As many people, please let us have this discussion. Let us convert. Please watch this broadcast again. Drop your comments as well. If you want to be also part of the ITWLA move as well, please join. You can log into our website, ituala.com, and you see more information about it. But also, if you watch the clip that's just going to complete this program today, you'll be able to get more information. But before we go tonight, I want to say a big thank you to Akin Oluwadare Jr. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for what you shared. Look, there's a whole lot of stuff loaded in what you're having, and we're going to reach back to you. Maybe we're going to bring you out next week. We don't know yet, but we're going to really, we need to hear more of this. Thank you so much. Okay, that means we got a. Hey, everyone, we got a blank check from him already. So look forward to him coming back. It might just be right.
Always my pleasure to you.
Yeah. For as many people who have joined us tonight, and all the people who are going to watch this broadcast, we want to say thank you so much, and join us next week, same time, same channel, same time, UK time, 9 p.m. UK time, whatever time it is in your own area as well. And if you're not able to join, please subscribe, click the notification bell as well, and make sure you get the alerts. Thank you so much, and have a very good evening. Watch the clip, please.
Hi, my name is Miles Monroe Jr., and I'm the chairman of the board for the International Third World Leaders Association. Our organization was birthed to respond to and address the critical need for quality, effective leadership development and training in the emerging developing nations.
Our vision is to establish a global network of leaders from every discipline,
committed to the highest standards of excellence in leadership training, personal development,
mutual accountability, and fraternal support, implementing relevant and innovative leadership philosophy based on time-tested precepts, principles, and values.
Our mission is to influence the destiny of developing third world nations through leadership training,
personal development, supportive relationships, and global networking.
Our purpose is to provide transformational solutions
in response to the dynamic leadership needs of the emerging third world developing nations.
Our goal is to cultivate leadership commitment
to produce leaders
dedicated to the empowerment of their people,
the progressive well-being of their citizens,
and the betterment of their nation.
The strategic approach captured in the slogan coined by our founder, Dr. Myles Munroe,
was transforming followers into leaders and leaders into agents of change. Our focus